Welcome into a special edition of the Inside CHCA Eagles podcast here on CHCAeagles.com and ESP Media powered by Sidearm Sports. I'm Jason Griefer. Special guest joining us today is Jeff Timbers, the track and field head coach at CHCA. Coaches both the boys and the girls, so some uniqueness there. So, Jeff, appreciate the time here, and let's get right into our discussion here. Just want to get your thoughts, first of all, on the uniqueness of challenge of coaching both the boys and the girls squads simultaneously. I know you've had a long tenure in doing so in your coaching career, but just what are some of the challenges that you have to embark on in trying to manage both squads at the same time and trying to build them up to where you want them to be?
Well, I think that the challenge comes in recognizing what you can do for both boys and girls. There are certain times where you can be tough on athletes, and you have to know that not just in the boys, but also in the girls too as well. I can be tough with some of my athletes, but on the other hand, I have to be a little bit more lenient with some of my athletes. So knowing the difference between when I can push and when I have to settle back a little bit, that would be the challenge, and to get them to be where they want to be.
So we look at the way things work in the spring season for all sports, and particularly track and field. It's a very, very condensed season. You know, we talk about a season that starts in kind of late March, and here we are talking on the 3rd of May, and we already have an eye on the postseason. That's coming up in just over a week or so, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But just want to get your thoughts on the challenge in that perspective in getting your athletes, your runners, your field athletes prepared for these events, given the fact that everything and all these events happen in such a short time. How do you go about managing the athletes so as to avoid injury and also make sure that you have them peaking at the right time?
Well, a lot of our athletes are 2-sport players, 3-sport players throughout the season. So they are basically already in condition to come to track and field. And so that lessens the challenge. But we do have athletes that are not doing anything over the winter, so we encourage them. In fact, we had indoor conditioning over the winter, and we had some athletes go to indoor invitationals, and just to get an eye of where they are at that time, and then being ready to come into the season. We discourage people that athletes that want to come in and just do track right from the get-go. Like you said, it's a short season. And if they do happen to do that, then we have to be a little bit more soft with their program, where we ease them in a little bit more than we would like the other athletes who are already involved in a fall sport and a winter sport. So we have to do that in order to have them be still healthy at the end of the season.
So we look at the way things are shaking out right now, and let's talk about the girls for a little bit. Right now, the way things are going there, and we were supposed to have the home invite here today, and apparently Mother Nature has just decided now that's not going to happen. So we don't have that, unfortunately, at this point. But looking on the girls' side of things, where do you feel like you're at your strongest as we head towards the end of the season right now, and where do you think right now you still have some room to grow as you look forward towards the Miami Valley Championships in a week?
Well, to go back to last year, the girls finished second in the league, and that was their best finish since I've been here, since 2017. And coming into this season, I think we're stronger than we were last year. So we have had quite a few additions to our team. I'm not sure if you know or not, but we had 85 athletes sign up, and I think we had 40 or 45 last year. In fact, since 2017, it's been that basic number. So just in the fact that we have that many more athletes out for track and field, we have more opportunity for selection of good athletes. So this year, across the board, whether it be field events, hurdles, sprints, distance, we are pretty solid as far as our girls team goes. Highlights would be Casey Beckerman breaking the school record in the long jump. And we have a 4x100 meter relay team that I think can match last year's time, which was almost state. They almost qualified for state. They lost it by 0.2 seconds. So we're in the mix there. We have a young freshman out named Taylor Bacher, who she qualified for state in cross country. She qualified for state in swimming. She is a top level athlete. And so we have her coming in for track and field. So we're hoping that she'll be able to solidify our distance and hopefully make it to state, maybe a third event for her throughout the year to get to state. Where
So
we
you
can,
look at the, yeah, go ahead.
okay, where we can improve would be for just the finer details in our sport, for our hurdlers to get down to 3 steps. We have a hurdler that's 4-stepping right now. So if we can get that individual down to 3 steps, that'll help her. Again, the handoffs, we have a lot of new athletes. Like I said, we had 45 last year. We have 85 this year. So we have a lot of new athletes that are fresh to track and field. And it's important for us to get those reps in, to get the handoffs down, and to get starts and things like that. So as far as the bulk work, we're good. We just need to work on the finer details of our team.
Wanted to get your thoughts on one of your standout field athletes, and Carmen Solario, and kind of what she's done on the year right now, leading the Miami Valley in the discus throw by over 4 feet. She's second in the shot put, just less than a foot behind a young lady from Clark Montessori for the #1 spot on the shot put side of things. Where have you seen her best progression on the year, and how far do you think she could potentially go once you reach the OHSAAs?
Carmen has been just a steady force for us in shot and disc, and this year she came out fired up as a senior, not doing volleyball during this time. Last year she was sort of splitting her time between volleyball and track and field, and she made me, when you're doing that, you can't get the time to excel. You're going to do well probably in each sport, but you're not going to excel. So this year she dropped volleyball, and we've seen a major climb in her throws as well as her shot. So right now she has some other athletes that she's competing against. That information you give me is a little bit behind. She's now 2nd place in the discus.
Okay.
And so, but shot put, she's right up there. She's thrown 33 feet 9 inches. And so we're on our way to 34. The school record is 34 feet 2 inches. And so we're hoping that through league, districts, and the regional qualification, that during those times she'll have an opportunity to break that school record.
Over on the boys' side of things, they've had a nice run of success as of late, won 3 of the last 4 league titles. Right now, how are you seeing the boys come together as they head towards the MVCs a week from now? And how do you evaluate their chances of winning the league title once again?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be tougher. Last year, we won the league by 60 points. And we have 2 teams, Summit as well as Cincinnati Christian, who they're bringing their A game to the competition. And we're lacking a little bit in our in some places in our team where we were stronger last year. And I think that might be a reason why we're so close now. So I go in mile split and I put our teams in. We do like a virtual meet, and I have us winning by 2 points, but that's really close. So so it's going to be a fight for the championship, but we enjoy having it at our place where we feel comfortable, where we practice every day. And so hopefully that having it at home and maybe a home advantage will help us to do well. But yeah, we're right in the mix, and we appreciate that. Again, we have a lot of new athletes out for our boys team who are helping us immensely.
Mentioned on the girls' side, Carmen Solario and what she's done as far as the field events go, and the shot and the disc. And I would be remiss on the boys' side if I didn't bring up the Luneski boys and kind of what they've done. It seems like, as understandable with their relationship together. They have that inner competition between the two. They're among two of the best in the shot put and the disc throughout the league. Just talk to us about them and their development as freshmen and now sophomores, and how you've seen them perform throughout the year.
I'll tell you just a quick story. Was a summer before they were going to be starting football at CHCA, and I saw them on the football field at practice, and I said, of course I'm always looking for people to be on the track and field team. And I saw a young man, probably 285, and his brother 275, and I had to go over and talk to him. And I said to him, has anybody ever, or would you like to come out and throw shot and disc for us? And they told me that at Moeller, they were at Moeller their freshman year. No one has ever asked them that. And so I said, okay, well, let's get started. And they were they are two of the nicest individuals you could ever meet. Like you said, they're competitive as brothers, and they're just a joy to have on the team. But coming out, of course, since they've not done the event before, they're still kind of raw in what they're doing. They don't probably have a spin down yet in their discus. They're still throwing it, like you said, tops in the league. And so we are going to lean on them a little bit more, of course, for our MVCs, for them to do well and to not be, to stay first and second in the shot put, but also to be hopefully first and second in discus if they can get that technique down. But it's a pleasure to have them on the team for sure.
Do you get the sense maybe that their inner competition kind of breeds a little bit more of an extra bit of fun around the team? We look at the standings right now, and as of the standings that we have updated right now, Mercer is 10 inches ahead of Charleston in the shot put. So they're right there. It's 1A and 1B. Do the other athletes feed off of that? The fact that they can see that Mercer and Charlton, they're going at it because they want to beat each other as much as the outside competition?
Oh, certainly. And as a coach, I encourage inter-squad competition. I've coached a team before that was a cross-country team, and the first place girl and the second place girl were pretty close to each other as far as their running. And I asked the second place girl, why didn't she pass up the first place girl? She says, I didn't want to hurt her feelings. And so I told her that doesn't help our team very much if you're not trying to push the person in front of you. So we do the inter-squad competition all the time. I just tell the kids that, you want to beat this person, and again, that person doesn't want to get beat. And so if we're doing that, we're making each other better. And so inter-squad competition is key to my coaching style.
So yeah, you've got that going on, and obviously, I want to touch on a couple of your runners as well, in particular Lawrence Cisse and what he's been doing this year. Under 12 seconds in the 100. Looking at the 200, he's 24 seconds there, so he's in the top 6 of both. Veterans you have on the running side, Rakestraw, McSwain, Morgan Sakai, all those guys, they're all seniors. And so you're going to have a interesting challenge next year in filling that void when those guys leave and move on to their next destinations. Just talk us through, some of those guys in particular, how they've progressed throughout their careers, and ultimately your challenge in trying to get their successors ready into the future.
Well, to go with, to tell you, first of all, Lawrence is the only veteran. All the other gentlemen you mentioned are first-year track and field runners. So, but I'll talk about that in a second. But as far as Lawrence is a student of the sport. If you ask Lawrence what the times are for the other runners in the league, he'll know them. I mean, he's like the dictionary of track and field. He just knows everything. You ask him and he'll tell you what it is. So he's a student of the sport, which is kind of cool because he's keeping in touch with what's happening in the league. Lawrence has already surpassed his best 100-meter dash, and now he's also surpassed his long jump. He jumped 20 feet 3 inches last week, and so he's doing well. And having him as an anchor on the team for sprints is always pleasing for me as a coach, because I know that when I'm not with Lawrence or the sprinters, I know they're being taken care of with Lawrence being his knowledge. He's able to teach them. I see Lawrence, he's always teaching people how to do starts and working on exchanges and things like that. So his knowledge, he's not afraid to tell other people about it and share it, which I think is kind of cool. But for the other gentlemen, we have the Morgan Sakai, Eric Rakestraw, Jeremy McSwain, and Colin Bass. Those 4 individuals, I recruited hard during the winter. So as I said, we're 45 more than last year. And I told these individuals that are coming out for the team that we want to give them an opportunity to do something. We're big on opportunity, because Colin Bass he plays lacrosse. It's in the same season, but it works. It's worked before, and I can tell you how that happened. But we tell the kids it's an opportunity for you to do something. And also, I just tell them that I want their raw ability. I don't want them to kick a soccer ball. I don't care if they can shoot a basketball or dunk one. It's all I want is you to run from A to B as fast as you can, or jump as far as you can. So that's what we're looking for when I look for athletes that are possibly two-sport athletes or athletes that are inside the same season.
You mentioned the jump and just the overall numbers that you have for this year compared to years past, and it's almost double the output from what you've had uh, in past years. How much of a difference and a challenge has that been for you? Just seeing such a big jump in numbers from last year to this year, and ultimately, how do you go about making sure that you retain as many of those kids as you're able to going forward into next season?
Right. So at the beginning of the year, we saw that we had so many kids coming out for track and field. And so what we had to do was we had to add a few more invitationals. And so we sort of split it into a B invitational or an A invitational. So we're trying to give those younger athletes still an opportunity. If we would have kept the same schedule, our younger athletes would not have the opportunity to get into meets and to experience it and to get better at it, to see exactly where they are. So we had to add invitationals and split it up that way. Of course, it's very difficult to be in constant contact with the athletes, but I'm a retired teacher, so I'm just a coach right now and
Mm-hmm.
in a papa, and so I'm able to make contact with the individual. So it doesn't really bother me that much, but it is getting in touch with 85 athletes is quite difficult. But I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy track and field, so it's not really a bother to me.
So you've got the program numbers are up. You know, we're performing very, very well. But I'm also curious as well as the fact that the junior high level, you've got a program there, seventh and eighth grade squads there on both the boys and the girls sides. How important is that development for the overall success of the CHCA program? And ultimately, how closely are you keeping an eye on what's being done at the seventh and eighth grade level so that when those kids ultimately come into CHCA and want to come out and continue their track and field careers, you're ready and you know what to expect and they can hit the ground running, so to speak?
Yeah. So what we do at CHCA is we actually practice at the same time. So the junior high is doing their gig, and we're doing ours. But what happens there is whatever we're going through, they're also experiencing the same thing. On Monday, we have a devotion that we have every week, and the junior high is a part of that. So whatever we're doing, the junior high is a part of, and we feel that's very important through that transition phase between the eighth grade year and the ninth grade year. So the more that they can experience, the more they can find about relays. We do the relay exchanges the same. We do, our pole vaulting. We do everything the same as the varsity does, which makes, again,
Yeah.
the smooth transition between the first year and the second year. So it's all good stuff.
Absolutely. And so we look now forward in this season towards the end of the season, which is coming up soon. We touched earlier on the Miami Valley Championships, which are coming up next Tuesday, and the chances for both to do what they hopefully be able to do. The boys win again, and the girls take that next step, finishing second last year and going ahead and winning this year. We always say in any particular sport, no matter what it is, but I think particularly with track and field, that you want everybody peaking at the right time. You want your best to be at their best at this point in the season. How close do you feel like your teams are to that point, and how much room do you feel like there is still to grow ahead of the districts in a couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, I think we're right on pace. I think we do a really good job. We have a distance coach that's doing a great job of making sure that the distance runners are peaked, or tapering for that time. And again, the sprints, what we do is we cut back a little bit on our hard sprints each week to have the legs fresh and ready to go. I think we have room for improvement, as I mentioned before. I mean, we're dropping time each week as we go through. I mean, Casey Beckerman dropped from a 13.83 to a 13.38 in our 100, and so that's quite a drop in a 100-meter dash. And if we can keep improving on that and our tapering, then we're going to do quite well. I mean, to talk about the 4x1 team again, we feel that we can break the school record and go to state. I mean, that's one of our tickets that we think we have right now. And so again, just the handoffs, working on those, getting those timed up. But I think we're in a position right now where we can do quite well at districts as well as regionals. And I think we have a few tickets we might have for the state competition as well.
Leads me right to my final question to you as we're winding down here in our conversation. If your teams and your runners, athletes, relays, any which way you want to shake it, are at their best in the postseason, what's the ceiling that you have?
For the postseason.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Where do you feel like you can get?
okay, so right now, just on paper, Casey Beckerman is first at districts in the long jump. She is second at regionals, and she is slated right now for sixth at state with her 17-foot jump. And I think she might even be top 16 or top 18 in the state throughout all the division 1, 2, and 3. So all divisions, I think she might be in the top 20 or even top 16 for that.
Mhm.
So her and I talked to Coach Willig, who is her coach, and he says she's got room for growth. So so her goal is to win state. 17.6 is in front of her right now. We feel that she can jump 18. I think she knows that too as well. So we're hoping that if that comes about, she'll win the state in Division 3. The 4x1, as I mentioned before, we were only 0.2 of a second from getting to state last year, and I think we have a faster group this year. We have some great freshmen and great soccer players added on to our team. So that group of Casey Beckerman and Lexi Adams, I think we have Jenna Mullally and Chandler Huffman. Those four girls, we feel that they can get to state. And what we're doing is something a little bit different with them, is we're going to run that relay at league. And so it's going to give them one more opportunity to run together. Then again, we have Taylor Bacher, who I mentioned before, who we feel that she can make it to state in either the 16, the 8, or the 32. So I think through that, we're gonna have an opportunity to get up and compete the last week of the season. For the boys, we're looking at a 4x1 that we think can get close to school record. Our school record is 43.54, and so we're at we're at low 50 or 45 right now. So we're inching, getting closer again. We having those handoffs will be crucial for us, but I think that might be our ticket for the boys too as well. So we'll be pushing for that during the postseason.
The opportunity to get to state is all you want at this time of the season. And certainly seems like you've got a number of different disciplines that have the opportunity to get there, and also not just get there, to make some noise at the state tournament as well. Still the districts and the regionals to go through. And of course, we want to win another Miami Valley Conference championship. That's coming up a week from now. Jeff Timmers, appreciate the time here today, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. That is Jeff Timmers, the boys and girls track and field head coach at CHCA High School, joining us here on a special edition of the Inside CHCA Eagles Athletics podcast here on CHCAEagles.com and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.